Hello, 7th grade, and in tonight's lesson, 6-7, we look at percent of change. And in tonight's lesson, you're going to be able to find the percent of increase and the percent of decrease. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and skip the warm-up and go right to the definition of percent of change. When we talk about percent change, that's the percent a quantity either increases or decreases from its original amount. And the way we do this is right here. The percent of change is the amount of change. So how much did it change? If we talk about an increase, how much did it increase? Or how much did it decrease? And then you divide it by its original amount, and that's going to give you the piece. But then, of course, to switch it to a percent, you times by 100. So that's the last step. So here we go. Find the percent of increase from 8 to 9 6/10. Well, to do that, we find how much did it increase. Well, to do that, I could subtract it, 9.6 minus 8. All right, and then our original amount was 8. It said from 8 to 9 6/10. So I solved that. 9 6/10 minus 8 is 1 6/10. Divide that by 8, and you should have 0.2, I believe. All right, but again, this is not a percentage, so we need to multiply that by 100 to get it as a percent, and that turns into 20%. So 1 6/10, or when we talk about an increase from 8 to 9.6, we're going ahead and talking about a 20% increase. All right, let's try our next one. Oh, and we have these two. You know what? I'm going to let you do these two. And when you're all done, you're going to come back and check your answers. And I'll have the answers up and ready for you. So go ahead and pause me now. All right, so the answers are now on the board for you. A, I took the change, 114 minus 100, and got 14 over that original, which was 100. And then, of course, I times it by 100 to get 14%. Same with B, I found the change, which was 1 2/10, divided by the original of 2, and got 6/10, which is the same as 60%. So if you made a mistake somewhere, go ahead and see where you made that error in my work. So now we have a word problem of it. In a given year, Hillsborough had a total of 7 5/10 inches of rain by March 1st, and a total of 22 5/10 inches by July 1st. Find the percent of find the percent of increase from 7 5/10 to 22 5/10. Well, right there, they tell us what the increase was. So we go ahead and subtract it. And original, they started with 7 5/10. So if you do this, I believe you get 15 divided by 7 5/10. And when you do this, 15 divided by 7.5, you get 2. All right, but again, you need to times by 100, so 200%. That would be your answer. So far we've talked about percent of increase, but you can also do the percent of decrease. All right, so when we talk about the percent of decrease, it's how much it decreased by. But you're going to do it the same way. You find that change and then divide it by that original amount. So here we go. Find the percent of decrease from 1,250 to 1,120. Well, to do that, we have to find it. All right, so you'll notice I'm not taking the original number. I'm just starting with the bigger and subtracting it. So 1,250 minus 1,120. And I believe it's 130. Divided by 1,250. So if you go ahead and do that in your calculator, you get 0.104, but times that by 100, you get 10.4%. And really, I should be writing the words decrease or increase after each one of these. So that is how much it decreased by. Here it's your turn again. Find the percent of decrease, or find the change. All right, and then if necessary, round to the nearest tenths. So I'm going to do this the same way I did the last. You're going to go ahead and pause me, and when you come back, the answers will be on the board for you to check. So go ahead and solve them now. All right, so here are the answers. All right, so for A, I found the change of 4 8/10 divided by the original, it was 9 6/10, and you get 5/10. But you times it by 100 and get 50% decrease. Same for B. I took the change and found 10 divided by 202. And when you multiply it by 100, you get 4 95/100%. But they wanted it rounded to the nearest tenths, so that actually rounds to 5%. So that's a 5% decrease. So that was our lesson for tonight. Tonight we found the percent of change by looking at increase or decrease. See you in class tomorrow. Have a good night.